To be at the right place at the right time is a matter of luck.
For photographer Herman Leonard, life was a series of lucky situations. It was after an apprenticeship with the master portrait photographer Yusef Karsh in 1948 that Leonard moved to New York and quickly made himself a nightly fixture in the jazz clubs on Swing Street, Greenwich Village, and in Harlem.
In Allentown, there were no nightclubs or anything like that. But on the radio, I heard a few things. And then finally, after many years and after the war, I ended up in a real jazz nightclub in New York, the Royal Roost.
Leonard said his aim was to create a visual diary of what he heard, to make people see the way the music sounded. And it all started at the Royal Roost.
I became instant friends with the owners. There was a Jewish mafia that ran that club. I don't know, maybe others too, you know. And we sort of commiserated, and I said, can I come in and shoot? During rehearsal, obviously. And I'll give you the prints, and you can put them outside. And that's how the whole thing started. So it gave me good entree and good opportunities to shoot.
There was no traditional work available for a jazz photographer in the late 1940s, so Herman Leonard started hustling.
I had no assignments because there was no money in it. Downbeat paid me $10. So I did other things to stay alive, portraits mainly, magazine assignments. I was a stringer for Life for a while, for Esquire for a while. Life sent me on an assignment up in New England to photograph the centennial anniversary of a fortress. That was the first assignment I got. They said, well, go up and get your equipment. And I said, okay, give me 2 Nikon bodies and 1 or 2 lenses. And the guy at the counter said, what are you going to shoot? And I told him, he said, hey, in this business, time is expensive. Film is cheap. Shoot your ass off.
And that's exactly what Herman Leonard did. He settled into the New York jazz scene where he shot each night. But the low light of the jazz clubs created many challenges for him.
I couldn't bring in the main studio units that had to be plugged in and wired up. Everything had to be kind of small and portable. Wabash was a company that produced a portable flash. It was a box about this big with wet batteries like an automobile. It had windows with red balls and blue balls. When the blue balls are up, you're charged. The red balls are up, you're out of juice. So you had to keep looking. But out of each, I had 2 of those units. Each unit, fully charged, would give me about 50 flashes. So if you want to shoot some tests, you're wasting, you know. So I was extremely limited by the amount of juice that I had. But I used those units, which was much better because I didn't have to string any wires. Put the light on a stand. I first shot Dizzy Gillespie using that equipment, 1 light behind him, but he was blocking it to the camera, so it gave a flare, which was very nice. That's the only way I could work.
And in the process, he compiled an unmatchable catalog of photographic images, capturing the golden era of classic jazz greats, including Louis Armstrong, Frank Sinatra, Miles Davis, Duke Ellington, and many others.
I'm just flowing with the tide. I always play it by ear, whatever I did, whether it was photography or relationships or adventures. I play it by ear. What comes along, I have to deal with it then. I had no idea where I was going. I just knew that today, yes, I'll be going to the club tonight and so on, or see that editor. That's as far as I got, and I just followed the pattern of it, you know. Yeah, it hasn't been bad.
Herman Leonard died last weekend at the Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles. He was 87 years old. I'm Jim Luce in New York.